2, 3. Apparently some of y'all are less than 15 minutes. That's all right. All right. Don't come this way. For T.S. Madison! Wait a minute now, bitch. I don't hear nothing. Y'all gonna let some motherfucker hear, bitch. Let some motherfucker hear, bitch. You know, baby. We gotta play. Are you ready? Get something hard. Make some motherfucker hear, bitch. Make that noise till I get up there. Make that shit. It's too many people from here. Some people get messing up in this world. The devil is in the building, goddammit. Hey! Oh my God, I didn't even know this many people lived in this motherfucker right now. I want to let y'all know that we are having Shades of Pride tonight. Y'all make some noise for Shades of Pride, guys. But the real tea, I know what y'all here for. Y'all want some fag talk, don't you? I think the faggy is still on the plane. He almost here. Like, he's on his way. Listen, are y'all ready to have a good time tonight? Tonight you're gonna get some drag, you're gonna get some ballroom, and you're gonna get some goddamn messy shade and gossip. And I'd like to say, I want to thank each and every one of you all for coming out tonight, especially during what's going on with this administration now. We will not be silenced. That's right. We will celebrate bitch pride. We're going to always be loud, and in motherfucking color, no matter who's in the White House. And I want to say, never forget that the revolution started with a brick, bitch. And if we got to throw millions of bricks in that motherfucking White House, bitch, it'll go down to the damn ground. But we are queer, we are here, and they better stay used to it, goddamn it. So,
because the legislation is being written with white women in mind. And if your body does not look like that of a white woman, you are in the same target as trans women. So again, I'm giving you facts. Don't shoot the messenger. I love to hear from you all, from your own identity or from the people that you hold close to you. How have you engaged with the blowback of recent legislation, specifically directed towards the trans community?
Again, Ashanti. Hey y'all. Hey. Okay, so being that I am a Black trans-led organization and I'm grassroots, that means that I'm small. I'm the one that with the boots on the ground, right? I am your defense. I'm the first one to see everything. Okay? Anyway, because of all the Trump bullshit. My grants have dried up. Funders are scared to fund us now. When I write grants, I can't put trans on them because they're not going to fund them. Just this week alone, I got denied 3 grants that normally would fund me. But because I'm Black and trans, I'm not getting funded. And then I have big organizations coming in and taking up, the rest of the grants. And that's what I'm seeing, personally. As a matter of fact, it has gotten so bad, you all, and I'm not ashamed to tell you. I'm a CNA, been a CNA since 2009. I stopped doing CNA work when I became a full-time advocate and started advocating for Black trans people. I just recently applied for my CNA certifications again, so that I can actually talk about it. That's not going to stop my work though. Okay, because the work was getting done before I even had funding. But I literally have to go back to, taking care of the elderly.
Well, honestly, I feel like this, how it is affecting people like me. I want to make sure I say this right. A lot of gay men, whether you're passable or not, it affects you. And because we don't stand up for trans women, everything that affects them affects us. And some of us, we can go in spaces and we can hide. Others cannot. And I feel like what's going on with our trans sisters, if we don't say nothing for them, we're no better than anybody else. We're no better than the church world. We're no better than the so-called allies. Because it's great to have allies. But if you're not fighting for what's going on in your community, who will? And see, at some point we have to stop looking for other people to fight for us when we need to be fighting for ourselves. And y'all ain't gotta say amen because I got hoop triggers up here. But here's the thing, until we start coming together as a community, and that sounds real good because we see all this stuff at funerals. Until we start coming together as a people to fight for us, we're never going to get where we need to be, because the problem is we're always looking for other people to do it for us. My cousin is sitting right here on the front row, and she has an organization called Be Diverse Network. Until we stand with her, until we stand with Ashanti, different organizations, it's like they're going to be fighting by themselves. So as a black gay man, I have to be able to stand with them because it affects me just like it affects them.
What hurts the most, you all, is that Trump was able to win the election because Elon Musk invested so many millions of dollars putting out those propagandas, the false news about trans people. Listen, I came from a black home. My mother did not have the time to take me to a damn psychiatrist, okay? You better get your punk ass on that. What? Okay, see, that's where I came from. So when they started putting these commercials out on TV, I'm looking at this shit like, okay, excuse my French people, I ain't saved yet. Okay? When they started putting this stuff out on TV, I'm like, who believes this? How dare y'all believe this? Because anybody black don't damn well. You too busy trying to bring in some chicken and some bread and some eggs. Then to see about your child's mental health. You know, mental health does not even happen in our community. That's the last thing we think about. We think about putting a fist upside somebody's head.
Have you got the egg prices yet?
Okay.
The egg prices?
Yes, $5 for 18. I just bought some today at Walmart. Okay? It used to be $2 some change. Right. So when he put those commercials out there for y'all black folks and white folks to vote for him, I'm like, y'all know better. Y'all know where we came from. Y'all know this shit is not real. But you bought into it anyway. Even before it came out, even before the trans thing came out, it was like we mutilated kids. Right. And we saw all the gay people online talking against us and the lesbians. Right. The same people that we love. I grew up in a house with lesbians. When I came out at 17, I stayed in the house with lesbians. It was all of us together as one. You know, some got in drag. Some did shows, some did stuff, but we all stayed together. And as time went on, we separated. But you know the truth. I don't understand how the propaganda was able to pass over y'all head and y'all believed it. Or maybe y'all just accepted it.
Well, I do. I understand how it was able to pass over people's heads. It's because everybody became selfish. Everyone saw what would affect others, and as long as it didn't affect them. So when you say you stayed in a house full of lesbians, the lesbians that voted for Trump became women first and lesbians second. The men that voted for Trump, the black men, the black gays that voted for Trump, they were voting for Trump because they were men first and gays second. The white people that voted for Trump because they were white first and everything. They were already white, and then they were, you know, gay second. The trans, Caitlyn, hi. Hi guys. Hey, did they survive? I hope they survive. No, this is the conversation that has to be had, because I see where there's a big thing where they're trying to do the erasure of the T from the LGBTQIA. Bitch, if it wasn't for the T, we wouldn't have no pride. Trans women have housed gay men, lesbians, and straight people. Because we, as people that have been ostracized and thrown out and kicked out and told that we don't fit in, understand what it feels like to be othered. And so when we went down to the polls, we went down to the polls with stripes on our backs. We went down to the polls with wounds from our own for people that look like us, have stabbed us, sliced us, cut on us, but we know that these people are operating from a place of trauma and a place of, well, it doesn't affect me, but we know that when it affects us first, it affects everybody, because we're 1%, we're the smallest group. Because if they can get away with mowing us over,
They can mow everybody else.
nobody cares about them. And we don't even talk about the trans men enough. The trans men in the conversation are just not, they're never a part of the conversation. But usually that is because a lot of the trans men live stealth lives. A lot of them live stealth lives, and it's easy for them to blend in, assimilate, and then they think, you know, well, it doesn't affect me either because, you know, I can pass.
Especially about masculinity as well.
Yeah, everybody operates from places of privilege. And they when they operate from a place of privilege, they forget about those people that are underserved.
Right.
The people that are underserved are always attacked first. Are you
I'm gonna scoot on, because y'all cut out. You know,
yeah. As if I was over here boarded in my panties, you know? Yeah.
we talked a little bit about how this happened, right? And Ashanti, you talked a little bit about the propaganda that and misinformation, disinformation. I want to be very clear, it was disinformation, it was not misinformation. It was on purpose. The state of Florida has been in the news consistently about rolling back educational initiatives, taking and erasing Black history. It has been erasing different pieces of our history as a collective, and now we have watched that happen on the national level, both with the removal of pieces from the African American Museum in DC. The Woolworth's counter was pulled out and removed. I would love to talk to you all about how do you see the erasure of our history impacting our community?
Hi everyone, my name is Kaden Small, one of the co-founders of the Central Florida Ballroom Collective. How many of you know what ballroom is?
Hold on, one more time. How many of y'all know what ballroom is? Not just pole. Right, and if you don't know, we're gonna give you a little taste later, but.
So before I can actually dive into this question, I want to talk about a little bit of why we came into existence. At least within the ballroom space, there aren't a lot of organizations dedicated to us, for us, by us. We saw that need in Florida, and so we pretty much spread into existence from there. As far as our history being taken from us, one of the reasons why we formed is because we found that our history most of the time was not being documented. In most cases, with us, a lot of our stuff has been oral. So with us, we saw that literally manifest in real time. Started to turn into these generational wars within our scene. I could go on and on about it. But there's a lot of history that's lost that isn't passed down, so it causes a lot of arguments, a lot of discourse, and we wanted to figure out a way to rectify that. So as far as our history being taken from us, I've seen it in real time what it does. It leads to confusion. It leads to things not being interpreted the way that they're supposed to be. It leads to a lack of respect for those that came before us and that paved the way, which is why, well, I don't know if I should announce this now, but yeah, we started an archiving initiative for our history in particular. So if no one's gonna preserve our history, we need to preserve our history. So, and you know, I'm always gonna speak on my community and speak from the lens of that. But yeah, that's pretty much how I've seen it affect us in real time.
Sure. As far as Black history is concerned, we all know that Black history started with slavery, right? Because that's what we're taught in high school or in school periods. That slavery started our history, but slavery really did not. The Bible started our history. If you go through the pages of the book, then you'll see our history. It is our job to keep our history alive. Although they erased it, it's our job. It's our job. It's parents' job. When I was a child, from 5 on up, my grandmother bought me a Bible book. A gold Bible book. It was about this thick draw. And at night, she used to read me stories. And inside this book was nothing but Black characters. Black characters. She told me about my grandparents, my great-grandparents. She told me about the sharecropping, them being Indian and all of that. It's our job to carry that legacy. It's not their job to tell us any goddamn thing. Everybody in here has an obligation and a duty to pass that down on. You know, that's our legacy. They can erase it from the books, but we got it from here. And African history always been passed down. Because see, my grandma baked cakes. She cooked, and I was her first grandchild. And guess where I was? Sitting right there at the table, baby, eating and talking. Okay? All right? That's our job.
I don't disagree with you. I would argue, and I will put an asterisk on it. I remind people often that slavery is white history. How we survived slavery is Black history. So just please handle that, please. Just do it for a reminder.
You know,
This story.
also being a part and being an educator myself, I was in a Martin Luther King march and I was talking to the teachers and they were talking about how a lot of the white parents were just so scared and nervous because they said this makes us feel so bad that they're teaching Black history and they gotta teach our children about slavery. I'm like, well, it did happen. What y'all scared for? And see, the erasing of history, it makes things get repeated all over again. And then on top of that, like you said, slavery that's what they did. But we go way beyond 1600. So what they tell us is slavery started at 1600, but I'm like, well, what happened before that? So when you tell us this is where we started, we were here way before 1600. So when you erase our history, not only do you erase that, but we got to find out what, and you just said it best, if we don't continue talking about what happened and grandparents and their parents and their parents, then we lose our history. And then now, thank God for the internet, if we don't continue to study and share this information, things they get lost. And so this is why it's so important to keep sharing and talking about things and studying, but they're making it where the kids don't study. So they're just passing children in the schools. They're just throwing them, let them pass. Oh, what was this grade? Oh, that was good enough. Let them pass. And as a teacher, when I was teaching, I saw this stuff and I'm like, ain't nobody learning. You're putting our kids through school so they can play basketball. They dumb as hell.
Come on.
But you put a pigskin ball in their hands so they can go play and make millions of dollars, some of them. And then that's the dream of some of our young boys, is to be in the NFL or the basketball leagues. And then that's their mindset. Not to get an education, but to go play basketball, to go play football. And then that's the mindset of some of our kids is, I'm going to make it in the league. I'm going to make it in the league. Not to get an education, but to make it in the league. Because they tell us, oh, you want to get you some bling bling. You want to get you a nice house, get you a nice car. We're going to put a white woman on your arm. And listen, I love everybody. I love everybody. But see, that right there becomes a trap. Because then you get your little white woman on your arm, then she going to sit up out here and do some foolishness. Don't do that? Oh. Oh, okay, I'm done. Right. I want to bring it around.
That looks like a bag. What is that? That looks like a bag, honey. Come on, I like gifts and things. Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to, whenever you come to visit us and whenever you give us your presents, I want to give you something back.
Thank you, baby.
That's what I do. That's my act of love. That's my blessing from God. Thank you. So it's a vintage 1960s wig case, but you can carry it as a bag, a tote. You can take it to the pool. You can put your dildos in it.
Oh yeah. Listen, even though I don't like no scrap, but I'll put it in there. But I'd like to tell you that last portrait that you painted for me, I took that home with me. It was very beautiful. And I want you to know that it is currently mounted in the T.S. Madison Starter. Yes, and because the T.S. Madison Starter House, like my sister's initiative down here, thank you. It is a program that is started by us, for us, because we know that the only way that we're going to get through anything in these perilous times is through community.
Absolutely.
And we have to be able to take care of each other. Sister, it is important that you campaign in your community and tell your community the grants are dried up. The grants are gone. But just because the grants is gone, the house will still stand. And the house gonna still stand because we gonna put dollars and pennies and nickels and quarters. And we gonna put all this stuff together, and those girls are still gonna eat. And that is what the T.S. Madison Starter House is founded on. It is founded on community. We need to look right at the government and say, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Because what we are not going to do is lay down and die. You're not going to tell us because you don't give us anything that we're not going to survive. We will survive. And that's why it is very important that I have your painting over there on that wall when you walk into the T.S. Madison Starter House.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You saw it. Sister, what that you was beautiful. Everybody came in and said, oh my God, it is so beautiful. In the grand opening, it was like, oh my God, it was so beautiful. And I said, it meant so much to me because I got there at St. Pete Prime. And it means so much so that when the girls walk into that house, I want them to be proud to be dark brown, dark skin, light skin, beige, fluorescent beige, bitch, I'm black. Come on here, hug my name and give me this pocketbook. Well, come on up here now, shit, ugly day, come on. Oh my God, thank you, baby, oh! And here's the thing, I'm gonna take this vintage bag and I'm gonna sit this right in the T.S. Madison Starter House, just like this.
It's got different phrases, it's got
everything.
Trans colors,
yes.
It's like, you're so powerful and you're such a blessing to all of us because there's some days where I myself personally, and you guys might relate to this, there are some days where I'm like, oh, okay, this is a real tough day, and I just kind of want to just kind of throw in the towel a little bit, but when I see you doing what you're doing, I'm like, no, I'm not going to throw in the towel because I don't have to throw in the towel.
You don't have to throw in the towel.
Because, bitch, I'm black.
You black, yeah. And not just because you're black, it's that you got to always remember, it's not where you start. It's where you go. And you must always never allow the enemy to fool you and trick you in what's going on today. Because tomorrow the sun can shine. And you have to always stand through the rain, regardless of the fact of whatever the enemy is trying to do to fool you with what's going on today. That's for everybody out there that has been, I love y'all. Thank y'all very much for being up here.